various news articles, basically. So newspaper analysis, this session is. So we'll take up all such important news articles, which is important to read in today's newspaper, and what basically you need to remember and what basically you need to read in those articles. So that we'll talk about. So first article, which I'm going to take, that is Supreme Court to pass orders on pleas in Pegasus case today. Petitions have sought formation of independent panel to probe alleged spying. So basically here, this article is talking about Pegasus case. And here Supreme Court has taken or they have passed order on the pleas which has been filed against Pegasus cases. So here committee has to be formed. And what type of committee would be there, that you need to read in this article, basically. So Supreme Court bench that was led by our Chief Justice of India presently, N.V. Ramana. So he had scheduled to pronounce that decision, which is yet to come on, which has come basically in today's discussion. So here a plea to form independent committee which will probe reports that government has used Israel-based Pegasus software to spy on citizens. So basically, this committee will look after and they will present their report whether government is behind this Pegasus issue or not. So that will be found out by the committee. And this had been said by the Supreme Court that they are going to basically they are going to come with the independent committee. All right. So basically, the intention of this committee to form, that is to examine the allegations which has been put on the government. And CJI has said that court wants to pass orders without any delay, but temporarily they have stalled. Why? Because some of the members they have shortlisted for the committee were unavailable for their personal reasons. So those members who are part of this committee, they were not available, and that is why it has been delayed. But now, in today's decision, Supreme Court has said that this independent committee will be formed to look after the matter. So basically, the petitioners who have filed the petition against this Pegasus case, so they have sought either such affidavit from Cabinet Secretary or formation of a committee should be there by sitting judges who will probe the snooping controversy. So the present bench led by Chief Justice of India and Justice Suryakant and Hema Kohli, they are member of it. So they have said that there would be no more beating around the bush. It means at this time, this committee is going to come up with the full proven facts, whether government is behind this or not, and what all impacted or affected citizens are there. So they will come up with these solutions for them. So CJI has also said that court has given the government a fair opportunity so that they can also file their detailed affidavit, and to get clear idea on their stand basically in this case. So basically this is two-way. All right. So first is what petitioners have filed petition against government that they are behind this Pegasus. For this committee, independent committee has to be formed. That has been set by Supreme Court, and this committee will look after whether government is behind this or not. Second is what government is also given chance so that they can prove their point. All right. So this is important to read about. Next article that we'll move on to, this is on the editorial section. So first, let me reach over there. All right. So next article. Yeah, so next article, which is important to read here, that is about safety first. And in this safety first, basically, this is about Kerala and Tamil Nadu matter on Mullaperiyar Dam. So safety first, that is Tamil Nadu must assure Kerala that all instruments for monitoring the dam's safety are in place. So basically here, this article, yesterday as well, this article had come on front page of the newspaper, and today analysis had been given in the editorial section. So basically, this article is discussing about the maintenance and monitoring of the Mullaperiyar Dam, which is in Kerala. But because of the historical reasons, the maintenance is in the hands of Tamil Nadu. So both these states, they need to come up together so that cooperative federalism can be promoted. So here, cooperation of Tamil Nadu as well as Kerala is required, because Mullaperiyar Dam, it is not only specific to these states, whether who is going to use the water and who is going to maintain it, or who is going to work on the maintenance of the dam, but impacted citizens are also behind this. So basically, this dam's water is useful um, for various purposes like drinking water, water for irrigation, and both the states are beneficiaries of it. So here, basically, this is important to know that whether who's using it doesn't matter, but what is matter, who is behind this and who is the beneficiary of it. So that is largest number of population. So basically, this Mullaperiyar Dam that is located in Kerala, and the water in this dam, it is being operated and maintained by Tamil Nadu, and Tamil Nadu is doing this to meet the water requirements of 5 of its southern districts. So basically, Tamil Nadu, in return of this operation and maintenance, the southern districts, 5 districts of Tamil Nadu, they also get water from Mullaperiyar Dam. So order had issued on the basis of petition that has raised apprehensions about the supervision of water levels of this reservoir, uh, especially during rainy season. So Kerala has also been experiencing some heavy spells of the rain. Recently, we have seen flood had come. So basically, because of increased level of water in the Mullaperiyar Dam, this issue has been raised. This issue has been seen in the discussion. So between 18 to 25 October, dam received very heavy inflow of water, and despite of court's decision in 2014, they have said that this Mullaperiyar Dam will store water up to 145 feet, and Tamil Nadu has been carefully withdrawing as much water as possible so that level does not reach the permissible level as per the court, as per what has been decided by the court. But few days ago, Kerala Chief Minister, they have written to Tamil Nadu counterpart, and this matter has been referred to Tamil Nadu, that heavy rainfall in the catchment and emphasizing area, and because of that, there is an urgent need for the gradual release of water, and this issue basically highlighted. So here, so both the states, they need to cooperate with each other. The access water has to be that has to be deviated so that both the states would not get impact of it. All right, so you can read this article in that way. Next article, which is important to read, that is Reevaluating the Neo-Buddhist Movement. The advancement of Hindutva offers residual space to symbols of Buddhism and downplays its revolutionary potential. So basically, this article, you can correlate it with prelims as well as for GS paper 1 under art and culture section, and in the prelims examination it is also important for the questions based on Buddhism. That is one question is fixed on this. So basically here this article is discussing about Buddhism, its emergence, and recently there is one Buddhist site called Kushinagar, where Buddha had died. So recently, Prime Minister has inaugurated International Airport in Kushinagar, which is in Uttar Pradesh, and it will help to connect important Buddhist pilgrimage sites of India. All right, so this Kushinagar, this site is important Buddhist pilgrim destination. So here, if international airport has constructed and it is now functional, so Buddhist tourism will be promoted in the state, and especially on the specific site, that is Kushinagar. And this international airport, it is connected with the important Buddhist pilgrimage destination. So here, not only tourism will get promoted, but Buddhism will also get promoted, and Neo-Buddhist movement will get started. All right. So basically here, the time has come when re-evaluation of Neo-Buddhist movement is required. And why it is said Neo-Buddhist movement? Basically, Buddhism, that is the India's own religion. Why? Because its origin had taken place in India. There is if you see the history, so Buddhism and Jainism during ancient time, it emerged out in India because of lots of issues that has been seen in the Indian society during Vedic age, later Vedic age. So because of those atrocities, new religion had come, people became followers of it at large scale because of its orientation, because of its acceptance of the society at the lower level. But during medieval times, its downfall had been seen because of various reasons that you can read in the NCERT. You can correlate these things. During modern time period, and especially right after independence, when Dalits or Mahadalits, especially under the leadership of Dr. B.R. Ambedkar, he converted into Buddhism, and from then there is a tendency whosoever is a scheduled caste or scheduled tribe and they are facing some untouchability issues. So at large scale, these population, they got converted into Buddhism. They accepted this religion. So here Buddhism got culminated into Hindu religion, but this section who is called Buddhist, they are now those people who belongs to lower caste. All right. So here this has somewhere it has widened the gap of casteism, higher caste and lower caste. So, but basically during that time, during 1946, that was October till October 14, 1956. This neo-Buddhist movement that was on its high peak, and many changes had been taking place. And after that, the decline in Buddhism had already set. It was already there. Now, after that, this Buddhism slowly and gradually it got extincted from Indian society. But India, because as I've said, that Buddhism has originated in our country only. All right, and from our country, missionaries had been sent out to different states, Southeast Asian countries, Sri Lanka, then China, Vietnam, Cambodia, many of the places, or Southeast Asian countries, you can say, where Buddhism is a national religion. All right. So why? So how it has happened? It has happened because of us only, because missionaries had been sent to these places. So the religion which has originated in India, that is extincted from here, and it has spread to different countries where people have accepted it at large scale, and it has become national religion of these countries. So in that situation, there is a need which has arises, and during the time of this Hindutva and Hindutva politics, the advancement of Hindutva which is going on right now. So during this time, this revivalism of Buddhism is required, and that is why government has taken some steps. And this Kushinagar, which had potential to become a Buddhist tourism site, so government has opened or inaugurated this international airport, so that Buddhist tourism or Buddhism can be promoted. All right. So what has happened in Maharashtra, that you should also know. All right. So that you can use those incident or events in your answer as per the requirement. All right. Because particularly if I talk about Dr. B.R. Ambedkar, so that is not only part of our GS paper 1 history and this Buddhism, but he is also important for GS paper 4. All right, under thinkers, Indian thinkers. So his ideology or his belief on the religion, that you should know. All right. Apart from this, Buddhist architecture and various sites in India, that is important. Terminology that you will find in the NCERT, and if something is in the news, that is also important for the prelims point of view and architectural point of view in the mains examination. All right, so these are important. Now, next article that you have to read and which you have to emphasize, that is why India should not sign on to net zero. Doing so would be so accede to further over appropriation of the global carbon budget by a few. So this article, you can correlate it with its relevance in prelims as well as GS paper 3 for environment and ecology. So basically this article, so we have heard lots of things regarding IPCC report that had come 2 months before. Then recently in the month of November, the COP26 is yet to happen, and discussion on declaring the target of net zero, that has, the burden has fallen on India to come up with its commitment. And this is not new. We are listening to this declaration of net zero target by India since a year, last year as well. This discussion was on its peak, and this year as well. But this article is talking about that India should not sign on to net zero, and why it should not sign on to net zero. That has been discussed in this article. So it is also said in this, the heading also says that doing this signing of net zero would be to accede to further over appropriation of the global carbon budget by a few. What is the meaning of it? So basically, this article talks about that net zero campaign, which has been initiated by many of the countries and non-state actors. Who are these non-state actors? Basically, these are those people who work for the welfare of the society regarding environmental issues, economic issues, society issues, but not they do not work under the purview of government. So the time the present time, basically, when world's carbon dioxide emission has reached net zero, and they have come up with their declaration of when they are going to become net zero. So it is not a critical parameter for safety of humanity. And in the recent report of the Intergovernmental Panel on Climate Change, that is IPCC, so it has also made it clear that if world's average temperature increase will be limited from pre-industrial level to those that has been agreed in the Paris Agreement or Paris Climate Meet. So it requires global cumulative emissions of carbon dioxide to be capped at the global carbon budget. It means countries who is behind the increase in the global temperature, they should limit it and they should cap this carbon dioxide emission. All right, to cap the global carbon budget. So basically, the focus on this of this article, that is not on the developed countries who is behind this increase of global temperature as compared to pre-industrial level, but the focus of this article is on what India should do, what India must do basically in this. So there are three countries or top three emitters of the world. These are China, USA and European Union. And as compared to these countries, if we see how much India is producing carbon dioxide, so basically India is only responsible for somewhere 4.37% emission of carbon dioxide since pre-industrial era. All right. So, India is what? India is a developing nation, and those developed nation who were part of this industrial revolution, especially it started with Britain, then it's reached to other European countries, Germany, Greece, Belgium. So basically, those countries who were involved in the industrial revolution at some or later stage, they are behind this increase in the global temperature. India, which came in this industrial era very, very later on. So since then, it has been found that its emission is not more than 4.37%. So India should not come forward and declare its net zero. And why? There is a reason. The reason is what? The Paris Agreement climate, if we, Paris Climate Agreement, if we see. So it set a target till 2030. 2030, till 2030, countries had to minimize their global, or they had to cut down or reduce their global carbon dioxide emission to 33 to 35% as of their 2005 level. So basically what they used to produce carbon dioxide in 2005, so up to that level, 33 to 35% need to be cut down in the carbon emission. So basically this is the time when India is growing, its economy is growing, and if India will come up with such reduction of the carbon dioxide, and especially at the industrial front, if we see, so somewhere it will limit its growth. All right, next is what? India is not the sole or is not the only country who is behind this increase in global temperature. Those countries, the top three emitters, what we have talked about, USA, China and European Union, so they have capped it. They have said, they have declared their target already. China is going to be net zero by 2060. European Union has also declared 2045, and USA has also declared. But India's declaration is not required. Rather, India should focus on to the 2030 target, what has been set in Paris Climate Agreement. So India's commitment for this 2030, what India has done for this. So basically, there are lots of efforts had been taken. For example, energy generation through renewable sources, that is solar power plant, wind, hydel electricity. Then another thing is what? Implementation of e-vehicles. All right, that is also there. So India's per capita emission, that is less than half the world's average, and this is less than 1/8 of the USA's, which has shown no dramatic increase what China used to have post 2000. All right, so it means India, this is a time when India has to improve its economy. All right. So if India to declare net zero, and so if its declaration of net zero will be there, so it will exceed to the further over appropriation of the global carbon budget, and India's contribution to global emission of carbon dioxide, if we see in stock and flow of carbon dioxide, so it is disproportionately low as compared to other countries who are said to be big emitters of the world. So basically, this is not appropriate for India to come up with this declaration, rather to focus on Paris Agreement. So allocation of property rights without any capping, and that become essential to ensure equitable access to any of the global commons, and global carbon budget that is the subject to know such restrictions, which has been allowed the developed countries to exploit it fully, whether in the present time or in the past. Only China, among all such countries or all such big emitters, China has managed to surmount its barrier to the access of carbon dioxide. And India, if we see its self-interest, must stake its claim to a fair share of the global carbon budget, and technology transfer, financial support is required to India so that it can basically minimize the carbon emission. All right. So such claim, what India has put or India has provided, it requires long-term options. It enables responsible use of coal, its major fossil fuel resources, oil and gas, then lower middle income economic status that has, and eradication of poverty, then malnutrition. That is also one of the biggest challenge before India. So these are what, so basically India has taken such efforts to shift from coal to hydel energy, then shift from fossil fuel to renewable source of energy, and eradication of poverty and hunger, malnutrition. So these are those efforts what India has already taken. And if we see resource strap of India in the small industrial sectors, that provides employment and livelihood to the majority of the population. It means major chunk of the population, they are working in the small sector, small industrial sector. So here it needs, that is the requirement of India, a requirement of the time for India, where India's economic growth depends on such economic activities or industrial activities. So agriculture sector in our country, that needs expansion and modernization, because major chunk of the population also involved in this. So agriculture sector, that has become second largest source of greenhouse gas emission for India, and it needs to double its productivity and farmers' income and build a resilient system. All right. Then infrastructure for climate resilience is also, in generally, is critical for future adaptation of climate change. All these things basically requires somewhere limited fossil fuel resources, which is made available through fair share of the carbon budget. So basically, those developed countries who are behind this increase in the global temperature, and it has already been discussed that these developed countries will help developing country to finance climate change, basically adaptation of technologies or alternate technologies that will mitigate climate change. So funding is not being provided, and these are those basically uh, um, somewhere what India need to do, what India need to focus, and what India is focusing upon. It needs some finance. So developed countries need to help India as well as other smaller nations, smaller countries. So developed countries and China, if they are very much serious on the Paris Agreement target, they must reach this net zero before 2050. And these countries like China have said it has declared its target of net zero by 2060. So if China is really focusing upon net zero, it means 2050, before 2050 they need to work on this. So basically, what is the meaning of net zero here? Net zero means what? That those countries who are producing or who are behind this carbon emission, so they have to come up with the alternate technologies that will sink down those carbon which has been released in the environment. That is what net zero. So whatever they are producing, that has to be sunk down. All right. This is the meaning of net zero. So this article is important to read about, and important points you can fetch. Next article that you can read, that is preparing for outbreaks, Ayushman Bharat Health Infrastructure Mission aims to build a robust public health infrastructure. So basically, this article is discussing about the aims and the surveillance under Ayushman Bharat Health Infrastructure Mission. So what are the aim of this scheme? So basically, this scheme is what? This is addition to the arsenal that we had to prepare for such outbreaks in the future that we are seeing in the present time. So basically, COVID-19 is going on second wave. During second wave, we have seen a very peculiar condition of a healthcare system where many people had died, all right, because of lack of healthcare facilities. So this Ayushman Bharat Health Infrastructure Mission, it is focusing on the preparation of outbreaks in the future. All right. So basically, an outlay of 64,180 crore rupees for the period of 5 years has been launched under this scheme. And National Health Mission has already been part of it, that will work towards strengthening public health institutions and governance capacities for the diagnostics and treatment centers that will include critical care services. So basically, this infrastructure or Ayushman Bharat infrastructure mission, along with National Health Mission, it will work on the strengthening of the public health institutions, their governance capacity for wide-ranging diagnostics and treatment, which will include critical care services. And their goal would be to meet with the establishment of critical care hospital blocks in 12 central institutions like AIMS, all right, and in government medical colleges, district hospitals in 602 districts. So basically, they have to provide emergency services along with diagnostics and treatment. So importance of laboratories and their lack of readiness during this outbreak of COVID-19 to have a robust surveillance system and diagnostic interface, which had never been more pronounced than in the recent times. It means these critical care units and diagnostic centers that has become very, very important during this outbreak of COVID-19. So government, they will establish integrated district public health labs in 730 districts so that it will provide comprehensive laboratory services. Then current labs, what we are having for different programs, these will be integrated to deliver clinical, public health surveillance and diagnostic services for predicting outbreaks, epidemics, and other things. So this scheme will more focus on supporting research on COVID-19 and other infectious diseases, which will include biomedical research to generate evidence which will inform short-term and medical-term responses to such pandemics. And government has also aimed to develop a core capacity to deliver one health approach so that it will prevent, detect, and respond to infectious disease outbreaks in humans as well as animals. So it means it will focus on the zoonotic diseases as well. So the plan to achieve biosecurity, preparedness, and pandemic research that will strengthen and it will realized via 4 regional national institutes of virology, regional research platform for World Health Organization Southeast Asia region, and 9 biosafety level 3rd laboratories. So these 3 institutions will be focusing on preparedness and research on the pandemic. Now, how surveillance will be boosted? So basically, India's endeavor, if we see, so that is to keep ahead of infectious organisms, and that has brought our life at halt. Many of the all such economic activities had been halted, had been stopped. People's life was on the stake. Many people had died, many people had impacted, many children, they are now termed as COVID often because of loss of their parents. So it impacts the population, impacts the country, it impacts the economy of the country. So it is focusing on expanding and building an IT enabled disease surveillance system on the cards, okay, whatever cards will be issued to the beneficiaries of Ayushman Bharat. So this network of surveillance labs, it will develop at the block, district, regional, and national levels so that they can detect, investigate, prevent, and combat health emergencies as well as such outbreaks. So this surveillance, it will give a huge boost with 20 metropolitan surveillance units, including 5 regional national centers for disease control branches and an integrated health promotion platform in all these states. So the point of entry, it will reinforce with 17 new points of entry health units, upgrading 33 existing units, whatever is there in the healthcare system. And this upgradation and intensified system of surveillance, that will be in the addition of the state of the art. It means newly basically modern technology. So state of the art national digital health ecosystem. So basically recently, few what's say not few days back, but in the month of September, Prime Minister has announced about digital health card. All right. So this is called as what, state of the art technology, that is modern technology, to have a national digital health uh, card that will provide an healthcare ecosystem, or digital healthcare ecosystem for IT-enabled healthcare services delivery. So healthcare services will be delivered at your home for managing the core digital health data and ensure national probability in the provisions of health services through secure system of electronic health records. So beneficiaries of this health care IT-enabled or digital healthcare service, they will be basically their data will be saved and secured, and on that basis the delivery of healthcare services will be provided. So that will be based on the international standards, and it will be easily accessible to the citizens. So major highlights of the current pandemic, that has been the requirement of the local capacities in the urban areas, services from the existing urban primary health centers that will be expanded to the smaller units like Ayushman Bharat urban health and wellness centers, and some polyclinics or specialist clinics basically. So urban primary health centers, they will establish closer to the community so that they can meet the needs of the urban population, as well as polyclinics will guarantee care through improved access to expand high quality services and establish referral linkages as well. All right. So this will be an integrated services in the healthcare system only. All right. Sure. So these are important articles. One basically data point I would like to highlight, that is data point. And in this data point, basically it is discussed about high and lows in the state's IMR ranking. So this infant mortality rate ranking that has been published by World Bank recently. And what is IMR? This infant mortality rate. This is the death rate per thousand live births of children under 1 years of age. So basically 0 to 1 years of age, how many children dies as per the thousand live births. So this data has compared from 2014 and 2019. Basically from 2014 till 2019, what is the improvement of these states? So Kerala has improved a lot. If you see in 2014, Kerala was on the top, and its IMR was 12. It means among 1,000 children, 12 children basically dies. Okay, that is what infant mortality rate, and its rank was 74. All right. Now Kerala has improved its rank. Its IMR is 6 and it has ranked 53. All right, so it has changed its position from 21 as compared to 2014, and it is somewhere nearest to USA and China. So USA's IMR ranking is 46 and China is at 61. All right, and Kerala is 53. It means Kerala has worked much better than China. All right. After Kerala, there is Delhi, whose IMR is 11, and it has ranked 79, which is somewhere near to Peru and Iran. All right. The worst performance or worst performing states, these are UP and MP respectively. So UP's IMR is 41 and its ranking is 176, and MP is at 46 and its ranking is 181. So this IMR has been ranked basically among 185 countries, and MP is at 181 rank. All right, which is nearby Congo and Niger, and UP is nearby Sudan and Afghanistan. All right. So what is the impact of IMR that you need to understand? So for that, you can refer to NCERT book to understand or to have a detailed understanding on the IMR. So this IMR of top ranked states like Kerala and Delhi, these were comparable to high income and upper middle income countries like USA and China, as we have already talked about, and UP and MP's rate. These are similar to poor income countries like Sudan and Afghanistan. So the global ranks of Uttarakhand, Chhattisgarh, UP and MP in 2019, that has fallen from 2014. They have slipped down. That indicates a slow pace of improvement in IMR, And at the other side, global ranks of Kerala, Delhi, and Jammu and Kashmir, they have increased their health performance by over 20 places. That indicates a faster pace of reduction in infant mortality rate in these states. Similarly, states like Gujarat, Haryana, and Karnataka, they are still middling. They are still fighting for their improvement of ranking. So Kerala this time it has improved by 21 places, and its rank whatever rank it has got, that is 53, despite of improvement in these 6 points. So earlier it was at the its IMR was 12 in 2009 and 2014. So in both the years Kerala's IMR was 12, and this time its IMR has reduced to 6. Uttarakhand's IMR, that has improved by the same number, that is by 6, but its global ranking has fallen down. All right, so that shows improvement from a lower base is tougher. All right. So some important points can be fetched out from this data and performance of these states, how many countries are being ranked, and what is the significance of this IMR ranking, what is the performance of India and India's states. Basically, that is important to read about. So these are all such important things, important articles, and that is important in today's newspaper. And for today, that is it. We'll meet up with another articles tomorrow. Thank you so much. Good night. Bye bye. Take care.